Rockstar families, and welcome to this week's VODCAST. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend at home on this beautiful fall weekend, coming into the last week of October, if you can believe it. I know that I cannot. The Rockstars have just been putting in an incredible amount of effective effort, focus, commitment, using their resources and their feedback so well, so incredibly proud of each and every one of them. And I have to say, hashtag one proud teacher. So keep up the great work, rock stars. This week's rock star of the week is actually Allison Parrish. Allison had some amazing demonstrations of initiative throughout the last week. You know, many of her peers, many teachers throughout the building were very intentional in letting me know, hey, Mr. Reichard, Allison really stepped up this week. She was helping some kids who were younger than her. She was picking things up even if they didn't belong to her. So for that reason, Allison is this week's rock star of the week. Congratulations, Allison. One quick announcement for the week before I turn you guys over to the strategy session is the fact that Trunk or Treat is this Thursday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on the bus ramp at Barrett. I hope to see you all there. The 5th grade team will be there. I can't tell you yet what we're going to be for Trunk or Treat, but if you come, you'll be able to see. So I hope to see you guys all there. If you're still able to donate a bag of candy, the PTO is still looking for some donations. You know, you can send those in all week long, and I'll have your Rockstar take it down to the office for the PTO. One final announcement before the VODCAST is if you guys have any paper towel tubes, toilet paper rolls, sugar cubes, cotton balls, small sticks, anything like that, we're going to need those for a Native American project that we have coming up this week. We're beginning Native Americans in Social Studies, and just you can send those in at any time that they become available. You know, I don't want you unrolling paper, toilet paper and paper towel rolls just to give me the tube, but as that comes up, just send those in if you have any available. That will be very helpful to us. Now, rock stars, I'm going to send you over to the strategy session. Some really great strategies this week, as well as a link to the science study video since our test is coming up on Tuesday. So, I will see you guys on the other end. Okay, we're in 21 Rockstars. I'm starting you off on the Kate Waller Barrett Elementary School homepage at our Class Fusion page. I have a few resources for you this week, especially in math, writing, and reading. And then I'll show you where you will be able to find the science study video in a couple of hours that will be available since we have our test coming up on Tuesday. So, I'm going to take you down to today to the Rockstar Document section. And if you look under the Rockstar Document section under Math Practice, that's where I would like you to click into. So if I click into Math Practice, a couple things here that I have available for you this week. Number one, I have a order of operations riddle sheet that you can actually complete for some house points. So let me actually zoom it up so you can see it. So basically what you're going to do is solve the expression, okay, simplify each expression, and whatever answer you get, say that this answer is 12, which it really isn't, but say that this one is 12, then you would put a C here for 12. Do you see how that letter is here? And then what you're actually going to do is you're going to be able to solve the riddle. So you do not have to print this sheet out. You can simply just write down each problem and the work. Okay, I do need to see the work. And then write out what did 0 say to the number 8. Okay, that's kind of the secret code. And you can get yourself 1 point for each of these problems. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points. And if you find the message, you can get an additional 2. So with this order of operations practice, you can get a total of 12 house points. And guys, the house point race is so close right now that those can be extremely crucial. So make sure you bring in all work when you complete that, but that's a great way to practice some order of operations one final time before we move on to some elapsed time. Now, the next practice that I have for you is actually it's called VODCAST elapsed time, if you see it right here. I click into that. Now, we're going to begin elapsed time this week. This year we're going beyond what we have done in 3rd and 4th grade. You know, we're going to start looking at elapsed time within a 24-hour time span rather than just in the 12-hour time span. So what I've done is 2 things, okay? We're really going to be working on the number lines with elapsed time this week, and we'll review this later in the week. So maybe this is an activity, if you're kind of uncomfortable with the elapsed time, that you come back to later in the week, or you can do it now. But basically with this first part, and you don't have to print this sheet out, you can simply, I can print it off for you at school if you ask me, but you can simply just record this on a sheet of paper as well, guys. And all that I'm asking you to do here is to simply choose an activity that you do, okay? So one thing that I'm thinking off the top of my head that everybody does is they get ready for school, okay? So I'm going to try to write that, but this is kind of sloppy. So you would write that under the activity column, so get ready for school, okay? Then you have to record the start time in which you began getting ready for school, okay? So if you were getting ready for school and you started at 7:09, you would record that here, and always make sure you put AM or PM, especially since we're working with 24-hour time spans this year. Then you're going to figure out the end time for that activity. So maybe you finish getting ready for school, let's say at 8:15 AM. Well, you have to calculate the elapsed time for that, okay? Now, the elapsed time is the amount of time that went by, elapsed, okay? The amount of time that it took from the start to the finish, from the start to the end time. So you have to figure out how much time is here. Something you've been working on for the last 2 years in your math classes has actually been the creation of a number line. I'm going to change my ink color so you can see this. So imagine I'm putting my number line right here. So on this end, I would start with 7 o'clock. And on this end, I would go the whole way to, well, 8. I'm just taking my whole numbers to begin with. So at this point in time, this is 1 full hour. That's what I'm going to record. Okay. Now below that, I'm going to record minutes. Okay, so I'm going to make another number line. Because remember in 3rd grade, guys, we actually took a number strip. We made it in a circle around the clock, and then we unfolded it, and it gave us that number line. So my minutes start at 9. And they end at 15, but I have to be very, very careful, okay? Because I have to figure out how long it has been from 9 to 15. Now, if I do that jump, how much time is between there? Well, that would be a total of 6 minutes, okay? Now, as if I'm adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, I need to ask myself, is my answer reasonable? That's what good mathematicians do, is ask themselves if the answer is reasonable. So I take my hour, I take my minutes. So my elapsed time in this case would be 1 hour and 6 minutes. Okay? So I want you guys to see that elapsed time is real life. It happens in real life. You know, this week we're going to look at the sunrise and sunset each day for about the next 2 weeks, and we're going to be graphing that. So you're going to be able to see how there are really real-life connections with all of that. So this is a great way to practice that. If you write down an activity, start, end time, and the elapsed time with your number lines present, you can get yourself 3 house points for every activity. Now, with the activities, I want you to kind of expand yourself. Maybe you could have an activity the time you're at school, from the time you're picked up at the bus or dropped off to the time that you arrive at home. So kind of go beyond that 1 hour, 6 minute time frame to kind of challenge yourselves, especially since this year we're working with elapsed time within a 24-hour time span. But this would be excellent, excellent practice. Okay, so you can just write this down on paper, guys. You don't need the chart. Now I'm going to erase that. I'm going to scroll down because I do have a few questions you can answer. You can get yourself 2 house points for each of these if you spend some time on them and show me your work, okay? Now, you can't just choose an answer. I got to see your work. I have to see your number lines. How did you come upon solving this? You may want to pause your screen here. I'm going to scroll down. Here's another problem, number 2. And then finally, this is actually the same chart down here that we were working on up above. But this chart, they've already put activity. So, for instance, they said playing cards, start time 9 a.m., end time 10 a.m. Well, the elapsed time, that's pretty simple. You know, in that case, that's just 1 hour. But I do want to see your number line. You can earn 1/4 point for each of these blanks. So this could all be 1 house point altogether. Okay. So this is great practice. You know, if you're a little confused with this at the beginning of the week, that's fine because we haven't covered it yet in class. We haven't really discovered it yet in class. So you may want to come back to this part of the VODCAST a little later, guys. But great, great practice for elapsed time. Okay, so that's what I have for you this week in math. Now I'm going to take you back to our home page. Like I said, for science, I'm going to have the study video up in a little bit of time, and it'll be linked right on the front page here that you'll be able to go right into. So keep an eye for that. Now, for your writing prompt this week, What I would like you to do is respond to this prompt. So just add monsters. Retell a story you know, but this time add monsters. So you could do something as simple as choosing the story of the Three Little Pigs. And you could add monsters to it, guys. But the big thing that I want you to focus on this week is right here. And let me highlight it so you can see exactly what I mean. I would like you to create a dialogue, a conversation between the two monsters. At least two monsters in your story. So what that means is have them talk back and forth to one another. We're really going to work on dialogue this week because we're going to incorporate some of that into our mysteries. So this would be great practice, and you can earn yourself 5 house points if you put in a little bit of time with your writing this week. And finally, for reading, we're beginning making inferences this week. You guys absolutely rocked the sequencing assessment that we had on Friday, and when I mean rocked, you did incredible. So if you come under the Rockstar documents under Reading Practice, I have 2 things that you can take a look at. Number 1 would be these making inferences. This is as if you're on the telephone. You have to figure out who did this person call. So for the first one, let me show you this one right here. I'll star it. It says, "Hi. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm ready. I need 2 large cheese and a medium pepperoni. No, thank you. That will be all." So who did I call and how do you know? You need to write down both of those items. This is helping you to make those inferences, guys, because when you make an inference, you're taking things you know in your head and things that you see in the text, and you're kind of combining them. So who did I call in that case? Well, obviously a pizza company, maybe Domino's, maybe Papa John's. And how did you know? Well, you're saying a couple key words that I saw here would be need. We're talking about pizza, 2 large cheese, and medium pepperoni. So we're talking about size with toppings on. And you're also saying, no, thank you, that will be all. So, and the fact that you say, yes, ma'am, you're probably talking to somebody you might not be totally familiar with in that case. So this would be the pizza guy, and then I just listed my evidence. So you can get yourself 1 house point for each of these inferences as you go down if you would like. Okay, and these are just some telephone conversations, but it's a great way to practice making inferences at home. Okay, guys, now I'm going to take you back to the Kate Waller Barrett page, if I can get there. Let me just reload. There we go. Okay, I did just want to highlight the house point race for the week. Okay, right here, we always have it available on the screen. Remember, this is the last week before we find out whose color we're wearing at the beginning of November. So whoever is ahead on this Friday, we will wear their color the following Friday. So really keep an eye on that. I'm offering some house points here in this week's VODCAST, so take advantage of that, guys. I will also see you in the science study video. If you have watched this and have not watched that video yet, I'll be over in that in a little bit. Just helping you to find some good study strategies at home. You guys are awesome. I'm so incredibly proud of you. Now I'm going to turn you back over to Mr. Riker. Okay, Room 21 Rockstars, I hope that those strategies were successful. I can't wait to see what you bring in, the effective effort that you put forth with the VODCAST this week. The secret code for the week is #TrunkOrTreat. And you can get yourself 5 house points if you bring that in to me, along with some work showing me some effort from the VODCAST. So, #TrunkOrTreat, 5 house points, secret code for the week. Rockstar families, if you ever have any questions, comments, concerns, do not hesitate to contact me. Follow us on Twitter, @RecordRock. Sign up for the Remind system. You can also check out our class YouTube page like you're probably on right now, our weekly class email, and our class VODCAST. So many ways to stay in touch and up to date with everything that's going on in Room 21. I cannot wait to see so many of you this week at Trunk or Treat, that Thursday night, 6 to 7 p.m. bus ramp. And you are the best families in Stafford County.